Hi, this is Farooq Hashmi from thinkingneuron.com. So this is the 10th video in the series of videos I'm doing for understanding data science. And in this one, I'm going to talk about what is the best programming language or best programming platform for data science. So this is actually a never ending debate, and a lot of freshers have this doubt regarding which language to choose and which language to begin from. So I'll give you the perspective of the market in this, and having worked on most of these platforms, I'll also tell you what do I think will be relevant in the future. All right, so let's get started. So the very first thing, let me address R versus Python. So there is a never ending debate about should I learn R or should I learn Python. So from the current market trends perspective, I believe Python is more sensible to learn. Although I really like how R has its coding style, it's very neat and clean, and it's less confusing for any beginner in terms of programming. While if a person starts with Python programming, and it has a lot of loose ends, I can say it has been inspired by many different programming languages, and it's kind of a mixed up kind of a language. And I really don't like the usage of similar kind of characters for different things. Like for example, these brackets can be used for many things, for subsetting, also for defining a list, for defining an array. Similarly, these brackets in Python can be used in multiple ways, like for defining sets or for defining dictionaries. So over here in R, these brackets are primarily used for defining the scope, and it's more restricted, more neat in R as compared to Python. But then Python has its own advantages right now. Python is a programmer's language, and R is a data scientist's language. So let me write this in this way. Python is programmer's language. So anybody who has learned C, C++ or Java in their colleges, or in their career somewhere, they will feel at home with Python. And somebody who is totally a non-programmer person. So somebody who is a non-programmer, if they begin with R, they will feel much more at home or easier to code, because R is a very simple language, very easy language to learn. So is Python, but if you have a programming background, you will feel better with Python. So why I'm saying Python when you ask me about R and Python, because the future languages, many tools have this Python integration. They also have R, but they have this Python integration, and some important new programming languages like Spark, the Apache Spark or the PySpark, which has been developed, which is really great for machine learning at scale, is primarily based on Python, or the all the syntax which you learn with Python will help you to understand the syntax for PySpark. So it's like a base programming language for a lot of next level programming languages which you are going to learn. And not to mention the famous libraries like TensorFlow and Keras and Pandas, NumPy, sklearn. All these famous libraries are present with Python, and that's why it makes Python as the number one choice to do all sorts of machine learning or deep learning which is required by your project. So it becomes a go-to language for all sorts of requirements. So that is why people are shifting towards Python, and eventually the shift keeps going on and on. Every few years the shift happens. Like previously, like five or 6 years ago, R was there, which was present in the market, which was more prevalent. Then Python came along. Prior to that, even prior to R, let's say 15 years ago, SAS was the market leader. So right now SAS is kind of behind uh, in this race of which is the best programming language, and Python is clearly winning the deal. Now, one more player which is coming into the market now is cloud. And what do we mean by cloud? So all these algorithms which you implement in Python, they can be implemented on cloud as well. So for example, the Azure ML Cloud. So it says it has a studio and it says that just tell me the target variable and I'll create the models for you. I'll do everything for you. So something which has been sold to customers as auto ML. Now I'm not a big fan of auto ML because it can do some things which are really foolish. If you just don't do your feature engineering properly or feature selection properly, the auto ML will simply utilize very bad columns or nonsensical columns into the model. And because it is coded in a way to simply include whatever is not present in the target variable, so it is bound to make some silly mistakes, like selecting qualitative kind of variables, like id kind of variables, which are nonsensical for predictions. So auto ML is something which you should be away from right now. It is not truly auto. You have to still do the feature engineering and the feature selection on your own. If you don't do, it may use them and create the model with good accuracy as well, but it will be bogus. It will not be sensible. Okay. So this is moving right now and people love this automation, because especially the non-technical people, because they don't have to code, they don't have to do anything. They just have to specify that this is the data, this is the target, and create me the models. So they are trying to automate this totally. But when you are solving a business problem, the domain knowledge of that business problem is really important, and then only you can make cutting edge solutions or sensible solution as such. So this is also gaining momentum. So what right now is happening is, inside this cloud you have integrations of R and Python, and you can still write the code which you have learned so far in the nuggets, in the space provided for R and Python. Okay, so inside cloud also you can write your naive R and Python code. If you don't want, then there is a totally drag and drop interface as well. Okay, which was present earlier in tools like RapidMiner or SPSS Modeler. All these are drag and drop tools. Similarly, the newer cloud based implementations are more towards giving the user a easy interface. Now cloud actually will sustain. So all these standalone softwares will eventually be integrated into the cloud. Like let's say right now today you install Anaconda or Jupyter notebooks or the R console separately. After a few years, these all will come bundled into your cloud platform, whatever cloud platform your company has taken, whether it is Azure Cloud or from Microsoft, or it is AWS Cloud or Google Cloud. These are the three big players right now in the market. So why people will shift, why organizations will eventually shift to cloud? Because it saves a lot of headache. Just imagine your Gmail. You don't want to store all those emails physically as a file on your laptops, right? It is safe. We assume that it is safe with the servers of Google. Why? Because it is hosted on cloud. You are accessing the service by a URL, and this is what all the cloud technologies are about. You can access computing power, you can access storage. Like Microsoft has started to move everything into that Office 360 degree. So now the whole set of mails, just like Gmail, are present inside your cloud of like Microsoft Cloud. So the whole world will move eventually towards cloud from right now. What the scenario is, so you need to learn any one of these platforms going further. While you do machine learning, that is fine. You have to also learn how do I do machine learning on any one of these platforms. Okay, if you want to survive the next 10 years in IT, if you want to stay relevant in for the next 10 years in the IT industry, because eventually everyone will move in the cloud, and if you don't know how to operate in cloud, you will start becoming obsolete, you'll start becoming irrelevant. All right, and it happens every few years. A new wave of technological transformation happens, and you need to redefine yourself and reinvent yourself, learn new things based on whatever is coming. All right, so to sum it up, which programming language I would recommend right now in 2021 for you to get started with? If you are starting, I'll recommend Python, because it will act as a base for many new things which you are going to do in future. All right, and as such it will be present in your cloud platforms as well, and so you will be future proof You'll be more future proof with Python as compared to the other programming languages. Now, this was the choice about the programming language or as such the platform. But what about machine learning? So, machine learning is generic. Whatever algorithms you are firing in R, they will work in the same fashion in Python also, in SAS also, and in any other cloud platform also. So the decision tree, the way decision tree works will work in the same fashion in R also, in Python also, and in SAS also, or in cloud also. So mathematics doesn't change. For example, the mean value, if you calculate a mean value, no matter where you calculate the mean value of a given 5 or 6 numbers, it is always going to be same. Similarly, the result of your decision trees or random forests, the algorithms will not change if the data is not changing. All right, if the data is same, the algorithm is same. These are just ways to execute them. All right, so you need to learn machine learning techniques, machine learning algorithm once, and they are going to stay with you for life. The algorithms doesn't change or the mathematics doesn't change. Only the programming language or the platform will change for you, where you are coding them. All right, so I hope it clarifies regarding the programming language choice, and you will be able to go ahead with confidence now. So thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.